The Odyssey is a 20-year story. 10 years of war, 10 years trying to get home, storms, monsters, a witch, a trip to the actual land of the dead, and a wife holding of a house full of men who want her husband declared legally dead. Nobody has ever fit that inside a movie. Not one person in over 100 years of trying. Every filmmaker who walks up to this poem hits the same wall. The story is bigger than the format. So every one of them had to leave something behind. This isn't a ranking video. This is a video about what each one cut. Because line them up and you don't get 4 movies, you get 4 confessions. And yes, I know about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Damn, we're in a tight spot.
Fight me in the comments. 1911, The Magic. 44 minutes for a 20-year epic made for a film competition at the Turin World's Fair. So the first serious swing at Homer was essentially a science fair project. An incredible science fair project. The Cyclops sequence uses forced perspective to make Polyphemus tower over the actors. And in 1911, when most movies were 10 minutes long and about a train arriving, that's an act of genuine insanity. It works, and it still works. And here's the first cut. The surviving prince drops Cersei completely, gone. The witch, the year on the island, the men turned into pigs, the underworld, gone. Despite these guys having just made a movie about hell and having the props lying around. First Odyssey film, first rule of the Odyssey films, something has to go. 43 years later, Hollywood shows up with Technicolor and a movie star and makes a cut so revealing I don't think they noticed they made it. 1954, The Women. Kirk Douglas, full Technicolor, peak sword and sandal. And it's good. Douglas plays Odysseus as a man who's genuinely dangerously clever. Fun fact, the Cyclops sequence was directed by Mario Bava, the godfather of Italian horror, and he got no credit for it, just like the editor of this channel. Remember that, it'll come back. This is the most faithful movie on the list. If you read the book, this is basically the book, except Silvana Mangano plays Penelope. Silvana Mangano also plays Cersei. Same actress, the wife who weighs and the witch who tempts, played by one person on purpose. You can call that elegant. A man haunted by the same face everywhere he goes. Sure, but look what it does. It makes both women about him. Penelope stops being a person with her own 20 years and becoming a destination. Cersei stops being a power and becomes a temptation. That's the 1954 cut. Not a scene, a perspective. The fastest runtime saver anyone ever found. Hold on to that, it comes back too. Which raises the obvious question, what if somebody just refuses to cut anything? 1968 and 1997, the movie itself. Twice, filmmakers have put the complete Odyssey on the screen. 1964, Italian television, Franco Rossi directing, 7 hours, and handling the Cyclops.
Della grotta fatta piccola di modo che Polifemo, quello che impersonava con la maschera di Rambaldi sulla faccia, che impersonava Polifemo, toccasse quasi con la testa il soffitto, di modo che avevamo le 2 proporzioni. Poi giocando, che è molto complicato spiegarci per fare.
Mario Bava, again, the man simply could not stay away from that monster. 1997, NBC, Armand Assante, Konchalovsky directing, Poseidon's Curse, Polyphemus, Cersei, Scylla, the underworld, the suitors, the bow, all of it. And here's the part that matters. To do that, both of them had to stop being movies. 2 night TV events, that was the only way it fit. Twice the complete story required leaving the cinema to tell it. Yes, the 1997 creature work writes checks the budget can't cash. I'll take charming and complete over the gorgeous and gutted. The 1968 and 1997 cut wasn't a scene, it was the format. They sacrificed the movie to save the story, which is uncomfortable because maybe the reason nobody's fit the Odyssey into a cinema is that it doesn't go in one. Which brings us to the most recent attempt and the bravest cut of all. 2024, The Spectacle. Ralph Fiennes, Juliette Binoche, reunited for the first time since The English Patient, a fact that should have been doing significantly more marketing work than it apparently did. And this one cuts the entire adventure. No Cyclops, no sirens, no Cersei, no gods. It picks up the second Odysseus washes ashore in Ithaca. 20 years older, unrecognizable, kind of a wreck, and it stays there. And it's not an adventure movie, it's a movie about what happens after the adventure, when you finally get home and home doesn't recognize you either. And here's the thing, it's the only one that treats Penelope like a person. Remember 1954, The Wife's Destination? Binoche's Penelope has spent 20 years running a kingdom under siege by men who wanted to own her. She's not waiting by a window, she's surviving. The 2024 cut, they threw away the spectacle to keep the humanity, and almost nobody showed up. The film flew so far under the radar it qualifies as a submarine. Which tells you exactly why the other three movies made the choices they made. So which would I defend? The Return. The one nobody watched. And I know that's the wrong answer for a channel called Popcorn Bucket. Its biggest action beat is a man slowly stringing a bow. That's it. That's the set piece.
Give the man the bow.
But it's the only one that made me feel the cost of 20 years instead of just showing me the 20 years. The monsters are the marketing, the homecoming is the story. And Homer knew that. The poem opens with Odysseus already stuck on Calypso's island, most of the adventure already behind him, told in flashback. He starts at the end and works backwards because the wandering was never the point. The Odyssey was never about the monsters, which is the thing every adaptation keeps learning the hard way. So what's the conclusion? The Ledger, a century in the making. 1911 cut the magic, 1954 cut the women, 1968 and 1997 cut the movie itself, 2024 cut the spectacle and nobody came. Nobody has ever gotten away clean. And that's not a knock on any of them, that's the shape of the problem. This poem has been beating filmmakers for 115 years. And the reason is simple and kind of beautiful. It's a story about how long things take. 20 years of waiting, of failing, of not getting home. And a movie is a machine that has to be over by 10 o'clock. You can't buy that time, you can only choose what to trade for it. Which is what makes right now interesting. Christopher Nolan spent an estimated $250 million and shot the whole thing on IMAX film cameras. First movie in history to do that. And none of it buys him a single extra minute. Same 20-year story, same theater, same wall. Whatever he made a cut. They all do. So go watch one of them. The 1911 is on YouTube, free 44 minutes of glorious insanity. And The Return deserves so much better than it got. Tell me which one you're watching, and if you've seen The Return, tell me I'm not the only one. I read the comments, even the one that jumped me. So see you at the cinema. Bye-bye.